I couldn't even pay attention to the braking because the car was groping me. Hello, people on the interwebs. It's your favorite shop dwelling Sarah here with another car review. And today I have a 2021 Mercedes AMG GT43. This right here is essentially a four-door coupe version of that big green beast AMG GTR I reviewed last year. And this one, being the 43 model, is the entry to this lineup, and underneath this hood right here is a turbo straight 6. These multi-beam LED headlights do the craziest thing I've ever seen on a car before when you turn on your high beams. This is extremely difficult to get the high beams to do this on camera. I've been trying over and over again. Here goes. There it is! Off, on. Isn't that crazy? So the funny thing about this being an entry model that starts at $89,000 though, it has over 15 grand in options added to it, which kind of negates the entry model part now. Like these 21-inch forged wheels that are wrapped in a staggering 275 35 front, 315/30 rear 21-inch Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tire. It's got 315s and it still looks stretched on these massive wheels. Behind those wheels is a set of steel 14.2-inch rotors with a 6-piston monoblock AMG caliper. And in the rear, you also have another 14.2-inch rotor with a 2-piston caliper. This right here though is my favorite part about this car. Check this out. It's a hatchback, a car that will haul ass, and also you could haul some ass back here. It's also equipped with an absolutely adorable little net back here. You could store a couple chicken nuggets in, and also a little subwoofer boy back here. It's underneath here. Oh, okay. Yeah, one of those. Great. I'm so glad they made this thing a hatchback. It's a good looking car. I like the back end. Also, it has an active rear spoiler that you can raise from inside the car. Check that out. Holograms. As far as the interior goes, well, this one is absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite parts about this car. And the best part of all, the back seats. It's got 2 bucket seats. As far as the interior goes, I'm gonna keep this short and to the point. You have a brochure on Mercedes' website that you can get all the specs and see the exact tech and safety features that comes with this thing. So I just wanna showcase the stuff that stands out from actually being in here. This is weird. This is a fairly big car and there's tons of legroom. There's a fly. Go away, fly. Shoo. Out this way. Come on, out this way. Okay, you go up there. And I'm sure you're gonna wonder, yes, they're heated and they're also ventilated and they do weird kind of moving motions. It's not really a massage, it's just so your butt doesn't fall asleep. But bolstering wise, good. Good bolster, very good bolstering in this car. It's got good backseat bolstering. I've never had a car with good backseat bolstering. One minor complaint, this cup holder area looks like it'd be an absolute nightmare to clean. There's a little lock mechanism on the cup, well, that comes out. I like how I got my own little rubber tray back here with 2 USB charge ports. I wish this was a wireless charge pad though, that would be really smart. There's a little lock doodad on the cup holders back here. That's strange. If you care about having luxury features like 2 holes cut out in your roof that are lined in black suede, well, that's gonna cost you a lot actually. It's $2,100 for the roof option and another $1,600 just for the suede that's wrapped around it. Part of the reason why this sunroof package is so expensive is because the entire top of the car is one big glass panel. The whole thing. That is so crazy. That'd be so expensive to replace if you got in a hailstorm. I think this is cute and clever also. There's another way to quick access stuff in the menu just by touching over these little areas right here. Since the car is already running, let's just pretend that it's off. So when I start it, you can hear what the exhaust system sounds like. Hello. The seatbelt just copped a feel. Now this does have a variable exhaust system. What you just heard was it starting up in Sport Plus, but let's hear it rev first in quiet mode. It's fairly quiet actually. All right, back to Sport Plus. Open up those baffles. So almost sounded like I heard a squeak. I must have a mouse underneath the car. Oh, no way! Does the robotic frog's mouth open? It does. Then there's a cigarette lighter, and there's an ashtray in here. Really? That's weird. Two things stand out to me the most when you sit in here. First up, the ambient lighting. The ambient lighting in here, in most Mercedes models, it's amazing. In this thing, it's straight up like you're in the movie Tron. Yes, they're currently changing colors right now because of the setting I have it set on. It's going from like a pink, now it's yellow on the bottom, blue on the top, and the footwells are blue. So pretty. Even the daytime, you can see the LED ambient lighting underneath this wood grain panel. The second thing that stands out, and is something that a lot of other Mercedes models have, but I think Mercedes is one of the best at this, and that is the infotainment and the gauge cluster. How you have over 20 inches across of screen. But what I like about it is how you can customize stuff so individual to the way you like them, unlike a lot of other car companies. How you can have your radio right here, your navigation right next to it, your speedometer looks like it's on a miniature smartphone, and then over here you can have your telemetry and stuff where you normally have your navigation or your radio, but I have it backwards. It's over here. In the name of science, it is now time to give this thing the beans. This has multiple drive modes. You can select them down here in the center. You can go from slippery to individual, where you can customize it yourself, comfort, sport, and sport plus. This optional dial does the same thing as the buttons below, but it makes it so it's a lot quicker to access on the steering wheel. I love that they have the track pace feature in here. Even though this isn't a vehicle I would necessarily take on a track, it is nice that they still give this in the vehicle. I'm also going to put my traction control into sport handling mode. And I'll leave the transmission in just automatic because it's smarter than me. Give this thing a little assistance and let it eat. Go. Oh, jeez. Whoa. Jeez, those shifts are violent. Okay, that's good. Man, the launches in this thing are fun. I wish it felt that fast all the time. It was almost like it was in the tune. It was giving it little surges of power every time it shifted too, which makes it feel faster. Ooh, that's super lightweight. Ooh. Hello, and welcome to Garage Science with Sarah. I don't even know where to start with this thing. There's just so much to nerd out on underneath the hood. Some of the interesting nerdy stuff that this engine possesses is a multi-spark ignition system that is capable of firing up to 5 times in one combustion cycle, as well as it also has nano slide cylinder wall coatings and forged pistons. Under the hood of this GT43 is the M256. It is a die-cast alloy 3-liter inline-6 turbo with a 48-volt mild hybrid system that is sandwiched between the engine block and the transmission. Now, the engine itself produces 362 horsepower at 5,500 to 6,100 RPM and 369 pound-feet of torque from 1,800 to 4,500 RPM. Ease of maintenance-wise, despite this being a straight 6, it looks like a nightmare. There's a turbo down in that mess of heat blankets somewhere wrapped in the gold. Being difficult to work on though isn't a bad thing. If that were the case, then our Air Force would be full of biplanes and gliders right now instead of F-35s and F-22s. That was a really terrible analogy. The 48 volt mild hybrid system itself is capable of producing 20 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. Just those numbers don't simply add up together and give you a total combined output. It's really confusing how that works. It's time for the braking test. No one behind me? This one's gonna hurt. Ready? Ooh! The seatbelt tightened on my boob! Jeez! It's like someone was in the back seat and just yanked on that seatbelt. I couldn't even pay attention to the braking because the car was groping me. Hello, I'm back. It's now time to look underneath this thing. Check out the drivetrain. I guess there's not really much to see back here. It's just a giant chunk of fabric coated cardboard. Jeez, that's a massive exhaust tip slash valve slash muffler resonator. What? That's crazy. This little cap is clear. It's got a clear cap over the bottom of the damper. Oh, it's a little remote reservoir. Check this out. Look at this ASMR heat sink on the bottom of the rear diff. This thing is capable of transferring up to 100% of the power torque to these rear wheels too. Proper all-wheel drive. This is AMG right there on the diff, as well as, I think it says it back here too. Yeah, it says it on the back of the fins. Look how beefy this Phoebe buffet bushing is. It's sad. I feel most people buy these cars just to impress others with the badge that's on the front grille, but the real impressive part is what you can't see, what's underneath this thing. As far as the transmission goes, this AMG GT43 has the 9-speed automatic transmission that is paired to Mercedes' 4MATIC all-wheel drive system. But what's interesting is what's in front of that. If you look up inside here, you can see the transmission pretty much starts right here. And then from here forward up to the bell housing is actually the 48 volt mild hybrid system. It's just a slice that's in between the two. I wish I could show you the underbelly of the transmission. It's got a plastic fin on there for heat exchange, but what's neat is this. I'm pretty sure this is a plastic, but it also feels like it could be thin metal as well. Everything up here is super, super rugged. This one's got dual ball joints as well, actually triple if you count to the one on your tie rod end. This is wild. This is so nice. There's your strut up there, a multi-link suspension, and then this massive 6-pot front brake caliper. Just like the GLA 45 AMG I reviewed not too long ago, this one also has a downward facing heat exchanger, some vents right there to gain access to. Ooh, and there's even a little vent type scoop right there as well. And this does have active grille shutters. You can see them, they're closed right now behind this front opening. I don't know, I love getting cars like this up on the lift. Some people say that with Mercedes and BMW and Audi, you're literally just paying for the badge, but that is so not true. When you get one of these up on the lift and you start looking at the engineering that went into designing one of these cars, that's what you're paying for. Oh, sounds so good. Oh, the little pops. Yeah. Normally when I look at a base model like this, I think, could you save the extra money buying this 43 over the 53 and then upgrade and modify it yourself to make it your own and just a little bit quicker for less money? And that's not the case, because if you step up to the GT53, it adds an electric supercharger. That's just crazy, an electric supercharger. It's a big, heavy car, so I wouldn't exactly want to chuck this thing around a racetrack. Compared to the AMG GTR, it's not like a 4-seater version of that car, although the 63S might be. I'm kind of torn on the entry model of a car like this, because entry at $89,000 is hard for me to wrap my head around, and this one being over 100 grand with options is confusing. But if you want something that looks good and is appealing to a certain crowd of people and is comfortable, can't go wrong. If I was gonna spend this much money and I wanted a Mercedes, there's other models I would choose. If I wanted this car specifically, no question, I would go for the 63. But the fuel economy though, even with the EQ boost, hello?
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
I was talking about your fuel economy. I wasn't talking shit, I promise.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you with that right now.
The Mercedes robots are listening to me. I better give a good review. Fuel economy with the EQ boost helps. Here it is on the screen. Other than that, it's comfy, full of tech, looks good. I prefer the fastest version. If you guys have never seen one of my vehicle reviews before, I have multiple categories to rate and assess them, starting with the bean score. It is a rating of 1 to 5 beans, based on the feeling you get in your gut when you give it the beans. And this 2021 Mercedes AMG GT43 is getting a rating of 2.2 beans. It's reasonably quick, but take this into consideration. The Hyundai Veloster N with the DCT gearbox I reviewed recently, which is just over $30,000, would give this a run for its money in a drag race. But there also is a much faster version of this available that would mop the floor with the Veloster N, so there's that. Next is the cookie score, as assessment of value on a 1 to 5 cookie scale, because cookies are worth money. And this car, as equipped, is getting a rating of 3 cookies. There's reasonable value here considering the fact that this is nearly half the price of the top shelf version of this car. So it gets you into that car for a much less price. And most people, when they see the two, they won't really know the difference. They're gonna be like, ooh, Mercedes, fancy. And they see the AMG logo. But I personally would rather have the most fastest version available because yes. Lastly though is the Penguin score. It is a rating of 1 to 5 times I get stung by a bee out here because they keep landing on me. I think they're actually horse flies and they don't feel very good. Anyway, the AMG GT43 is getting a rating of 3 penguins. I like the car because it's a hatchback, it's versatile, and I like the back seat because it's like 2 front seats but behind the people in front of you. Such a great explanation. I don't know, I just would like to test out the fast version because that's more up my alley. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review and I will see you soon with another. Bye!